Up a few things, but it's well and truly worth it, because you know why? He owns this part of the park. Okay, and over there,
look at that one.
He's got himself got himself a pretty girl. He built the nest over there, so the two boxes are either side over here. Okay. Anyway, we'll throw another one out over here into the water.
I've seen that boy.
There he goes, eating out of the water there. Okay. As we said, we don't feed them all too much. If every crocodile there got fed today, that would be the end tomorrow. It'll crawl down in their hole.
Hello my beautiful friends, how's it going? I hope you've all been well. Today has been lovely. The sun is shining. I managed to do a load of laundry, you know, it's Saturday morning. The son, my 4-year-old son, is doing well as well. What else is going on? Hubby is off to do his second job later today. So I have a couple of friends that are coming over. So I'll go in and make some chai, and we'll probably order some takeout so we can just, you know, have a little chat. And what else? You know, just general life, but I'm happy. I am very happy. Today is slightly different. Today I don't have any cash stuffing or any games or any challenges that I would like to do. This is an idea that I did float in a few of my previous videos, where I said I'm going to do a breakdown, because I was going to do it anyway for my hubby and myself, and I thought, let me do this, like just go through it over in a video as well. Because here's the thing, we can have the best of plans, and sometimes it's about whether we can execute them well, or did we plan sufficiently? I guess that's another thing. Now this is one of those plans where I did not plan very well. Hubby got offered a job in Broome WA. It's a day gig, which we thought, yay, that's a perfect excuse for the whole family to go to Broome. It's one of those wish list locations where I said one day I would love to go. Here's the thing, a lot of Aussies will actually say this, it's actually very expensive to travel within Australia. So unless it's like a driving distance, which most locations, you know, yes you can and you may not, because to get to this particular location, if you were to drive, it would, I think it's like 18 hours or more to try and drive there. So people usually fly there. So it's one of those things where you know, at least in WA, a lot of us will say, oh, let's just fly to Bali if we have to catch a flight. And so in WA, it's very, very common for us to actually go to Bali for holidays. Funny enough, I am also going to Bali in October with the family for it's during school holidays. And seeing the numbers in this, it's actually making me rethink my strategy as to how I'm going to pay for everything. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's just go through the breakdown, and then now by all means, I wasn't really budget conscious on this trip. It was, I kind of what's the word? Like, I was conscious and not conscious at the same time. It's one of those things hubby and I did say that where we can save, we will try and save, but at the same time, we do want to enjoy ourselves. So this is definitely, considering we were there for a very, very short time, this turned out to be a bit of a pricey vacation, but we do not regret it whatsoever. We enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. So let's go through it. So travel and accommodation. Ubers, that was going to the airport and from the airport from where we live right now in Perth. There is no Uber in Broome. They do have taxis. That is very, very expensive. So, and considering, you know, we wanted to move around in the town, we did do a car hire. We went with another family. What is that? We went with another family, and this family were happy to, so it was another couple, and they were happy to split the car hire costs since we were staying together in the same hotel. We're like, perfect. So the car hire came to $688. It would have been slightly cheaper, but we did have to hire the car seat for my son, so that's where it bumped up. But that is the price that was our portion to the car hire. So car hire is actually very expensive in this city. Then flights return, this was paid ages ago, so about $950 for just 2 tickets return. Hubby's ticket was taken care of by the person who booked him to do this gig, so it was taken care of. However, mine and my son's ticket had to be paid for. And then the hotel was more like a motel. We paid $550 for 2 nights because the other 2 nights again was taken care of by the person who booked my husband. So it would have been obviously a lot more expensive if those added, like if my husband's gig had not paid for the flights and motel. Food and drink, this was a big expenditure obviously from our part. So sorry, the total for travel and accommodation came to $2,260.34 for 3 people. Then food and drinks, this was breakfast, some lunches, some dinners. Where we can, we did grocery shops to kind of supplement the sack since lunches, but breakfast and dinners is where we kind of spend a little bit money, because the sunrises and the sunsets in this location was just amazing, and the coffee great. So we enjoyed the food and drink and the places you can go over there. So that to me is very realistic, and I kind of was expecting to spend that kind of money anyway. So that wasn't a surprise. Activities in Broome, because it's again a beach town, we did camel rides. Funny enough, yes, we have a lot of camels in WA, and that's in the north. For those who are not Australian or don't know a little bit of that history, camels were brought into this country when the railways were being built. So I just found out something very recently, is the camels we have here in our outback, because once the railways was built, they just let the camels loose into our red desert, and the camels obviously multiplied as they would do, and we've got a pretty decent healthy numbers of them here, but their breed is so pure that apparently they get exported back to the Gulf. I don't know how much of that story is true, but someone did tell me that, and a couple of people told me that, and I'm like, oh, maybe there is some source of truth. I should have checked on ChatGPT before coming onto this video to see how true that is. Hey, anyway, if you are looking for doing a fun fact thing, just check up and just put it in the comments as to and put a camel emoji down below. I think that is actually a very interesting story. But camel rides, we did the camel ride. That was for 3 people, 2 adults and a child, $253. We did a sunset cruise, which was absolutely beautiful and relaxing. It was a full 4 hours on the water, and we watched the sun go down. It was just magical. Both hubby and son loved it. I enjoyed it. They did offer us canapes and food and the first round of drinks, and then after that you had to buy your drinks, but the food and canapes and all that was plenty over there, so you could literally, that's what we ended up doing. There was that much there that we didn't need dinner in the end, so we saved that. and the crocodile park. This was slightly higher, $223.30. And the only reason why it's slightly higher is because we covered for this other couple that was with us. And that's because they were kind of shouting us drinks or, you know, bits and pieces here and there. So we just felt it would be nice if we could do this for them. And that's why that price. So total activities came to $916.55. I think that's, you know, if you're going to a place for the very first time, I think sometimes you kind of have to do some of the touristy things, and you go with it. Shopping. This is something, you know, you definitely don't need. If you just did all this and you cut this out, you should be fine. I kind of just wanted to go and try and see different things. And there was one thing that I had on my wish list when I knew that I was going to Broome last year, is that I did want to purchase one thing particular that Broome is known for, and we'll get into that. So we did go to the farmers market. They have an amazing farmers market and many artisans. Some of the artwork that was there was just, wow, amazing. So they had a lot of local artists there, and there was this one stall that caught my eye. And please tell me, is there any cash stuffers here who are not into stationery? Because that will be a smaller group in the community if they're not into stationery, because every cash stuffer I have ever met definitely loves their stationery. So this is one stall that I found that did handmade pens. So all this has been handmade by this gentleman that was on the stall, and I fell in love with them, and hubby said just get it. And because I couldn't decide between the two, I bought both. When you're on holiday, right? When you're on holiday. But they were just stunning. So that's what I bought from that market. I did buy some clothes, again some stall that had some sales, and I bought a shirt and shorts set. My son bought a hat, and there was some bits and pieces. So that's why that came up there. And what was the big expenditure was Broome is known for pearls, and they have the pearl farm there, and they're known for their South Sea pearls. That's where the biggest expense came. I know to some I totally understand that I am talking now from a place of privilege, and I am totally grateful for the life I have. And my hubby told me that, you know, this is something that you've been wanting, and he completely supported me, and he said just get it. So these are South Sea natural pearls, and I absolutely love it. I've worn them every day for work this week, and I've got so many compliments from it. And yeah, it's a big expense, and I don't have any daughters, obviously, to hand these down to, but maybe someday I can give it to my niece, who is also very dear to us. It's my husband's sister's daughter. She is now going to be 11, actually, and this is something I possibly could give her, you know, my jewelry collection. So I am happy that I got something of a legacy item that I could then hand over. All right, so what was the grand total? I'm sure some of you have already done some math here. So grand total is $4,800 that was spent on this trip. Did I have the money for it? No, I didn't. So game plan is, obviously a lot of this was already covered because we had expenses, we had some cash, travel and all that was already covered and all that, because we had already prepaid all of that and paid it off. But there is still now a balance on the credit card because of this. So game plan is I'm going to keep doing my savings challenges, and then once the savings challenges finish, I'm going to keep paying off that credit card, so that we're back to a zero balance. And that's the game plan. I'm not going to stress myself over this. This was something that hubby, myself, and my child totally enjoyed. We loved it. We made some beautiful memories. Amazing photos came from it. And it was good that we broke it down this way, because now we have a better way of looking as to how we're going to plan for Bali, which is in October. It gives us just a little less than 3 months to work on that. Again, I'll be doing my savings challenges, maybe a box game to fund that, and then maybe we'll be I won't come back with a zero balance, or actually I will come back with a balance, but the plan will be then to use my savings challenges to get back to zero, because I do prefer using my credit card when I'm overseas, because you do hear of scams, you do hear of people taking stealing wallets and things like that, and the credit card is actually a much safer alternative. But that's just my thoughts. Everyone has their own. Let me know in the comments. I do know this is a very pricey holiday for just a very short trip. It is Broome though in WA, so we do pay the higher price for wages, and that's what makes a big impact on vacationing in WA or in Australia in general. And that's it. I will now go into the Bible verse for the day, and if that's not for you, I totally understand. You can totally log off. Just know that my hearts and prayers go out to you, and if you're sticking around, let's go into the verse. All right, everyone, today's Bible verse comes to us from 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9. Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me." I hope you found these words encouraging as they have encouraged me. If you have been following along my journey, I am completely and utterly grateful for how you've encouraged me and kept me going and given me so much guidance, and I truly pray for every one of you to live a happy, healthy and prosperous life. Till the next time, everyone, take care. Bye.